Hello and welcome. I'm going to be demonstrating the BMI Calculator Project Part 1, BMI Calculation Service-Oriented Computing Application. My name is Kellen Ross, and we'll get started. So to begin, I'm going to be opening my virtual machine, which is running Windows and Visual Studio 2019. I apologize for any delays this causes. There is some lag from the VM. So first, to show the zip file that I plan to submit, this is the zip file I plan to submit, which is first name, last name, unit 5, and project. We can open it up and see what its contents are. So first is this BMI Calculator project. The contents of this project is the BMI Calculator project solution file. This solution file contains these three elements. Each of these is an individual project. First is the BMI Calculator REST service, then the BMI Calculator SOAP service, and finally the BMI Calculator web client. This BMI Calculator web client is going to exercise the two operations of both the REST service and the SOAP service. So I'm going to pivot to Visual Studio here, and we'll see that this is the same BMI Calculator project solution containing each of these three projects. To run my submission, simply download this zip file from Coursera, extract the zip file locally, that's what's been done here, BMI Calculator project, and then open the BMI Calculator project solution file in Visual Studio 2019. With the BMI Calculator project solution file open, as you can see here, we have the BMI Calculator REST service project, the BMI Calculator SOAP service project, and the BMI Calculator web client project, each of which we just showed in the File Explorer. First, to go over some of the key elements of each of these projects, and then I'll show a demonstration of each of the two services. So first, inside the BMI Calculator REST service, we have the iService.cs file. So this is defining the interface for the REST service. As you can see, there are two methods defined. These are the two methods which were outlined in the project instructions. Each of these two methods is going to be accessed using a web get, so the get HTTP operation. And as you can see, the response format is specified as JSON, and the URI template is laid out as such, my BMI and the parameters. Similarly, MyHealth has the web message format JSON and a URI template laid out very similar to the MyBMI operation. Below, in this data contract, the public class BMI is defined, and this is what the MyHealth method is going to return. So it's going to have a BMI value, a string for risk, and a string array for more. Next, inside the BMI Calculator SOAP service, we have a similar iService file. The same two methods, MyBMI and MyHealth, are defined as operation contracts here. Differently, the operation for web-get isn't specified here because this is a SOAP service. But below, we also have the same data contract, public class BMI, which is going to be returned by this MyHealth method, and contains the same three elements as the REST service BMI object, which is BMI value, string risk, and string array more. Finally, we have this BMI web client. So importantly, this BMI web client contains the service reference 1. This service reference 1 is a reference to the BMI Calculator SOAP service, and it's how this SOAP service is going to be contacted by my BMI Calculator web client. This BMI Calculator web client also contains a BMI Calculator form. So this is a web form where the input values are going to be placed and the output is going to be displayed. So this web form is implemented in this file here. So first, this serializable BMI object is created. and that's going to be important for the REST service. And then below we have the button. We have various text fields, which will be shown in a moment, and the button click logic, which is going to actually operate the SOAP service and the REST service. So this one operates the MyBMI of the SOAP service. So it's using this service proxy object, which is defined. The service proxy is defined using this service reference, which I showed a moment ago. And the service proxy here is used to call the MyBMI method with weight and height. And then the results, which are returned, are output in the text field of a text box. Similarly, we have the same service proxy object calling the MyHealth operation on the SOAP service. Once again, the results are returned and displayed inside of text box. So you can see the risk and the BMI value and the various URLs are going to be displayed in text boxes. But this is being called once again by the service proxy object calling MyHealth with weight and height, which will be input in these text boxes. Down below we have the implementation of the web form calling the REST service. Here we have a similar idea with the inputs coming in the text boxes, and differently here we create a URL to call the REST service. So this URL looks like this. Importantly, we have this MyBMI, so this is specifying which method is being called, and we have the weight and height parameters being set here. A web request being created, the response being received, and then that response being displayed inside a text box below. And here we have the call to MyHealth. The MyHealth method is called much in a similar way. The weight and height is used to build a URL. A response gets created, and then a request gets created and sent, and then the response is received, and the response is parsed, so it's deserialized into the object defined above, and then that result gets placed as content in the text box fields shown. So without further delay, I will go ahead and I'll begin demonstrating the services, beginning with the BMI calculator REST service. So I'm going to clear out my Edge browser, and we'll start fresh. So to run the BMI calculator REST service, I'll begin by clicking on this service file, right-clicking, and then I will view it in browser, which is Microsoft Edge, is the default browser, and this may take a moment to spin up. So as you can see, it is ready in Edge, and we'll go ahead and take a look. So here is the REST service. We'll play around with the URL in a moment, but first let's spin up the web form so we can go ahead and exercise the two methods. To run the web client, I'll go ahead and click on the form, and once again we'll go ahead and view it in the Microsoft Edge browser. This will take a moment to spin up as well. So here we have the BMI calculator form. To show some of the elements of this simplified interface, we have this BMI section. The BMI section takes in a height and a weight, and it's going to calculate the result and place it in this BMI field here. To operate the height and the weight to calculate it using the SOAP service, you would go ahead and click this button. But we're going to operate the REST service, so we're going to click Calculate BMI REST, and that will populate this field. And this is the MyBMI method. Here we have the risk section, and this is going to operate the MyHealth method. Once again, we have this text field, which takes the height, and this text field, which takes the weight. To operate it using the SOAP service, we would click Calculate Risk SOAP, but in this case, we're demonstrating the REST service, so we're going to click Calculate Risk REST. And these fields are going to be populated, this with the BMI, the risk assessment, and each of the URL resources provided. So we'll go ahead and demonstrate that now. So I'll input a height, input a weight, and click this Calculate BMI REST. And here you can see the BMI is output inside this BMI field, and this was returned by the REST web service. Similarly, we'll go ahead and put in the same height and the same weight. This is going to be a call to the MyHealth method, and we'll call that as well by clicking the Calculate Risk REST button. Here we have the results output. The BMI is once again the same value. Now we have the risk based on the BMI value here, and the 3 URL resources output in each of these 3 text fields. So this was once again called the MyHealth method of the REST web service to populate these fields. To demonstrate the REST service a little bit further, we have this URL field, and we can also call it directly from the URL field. So we'll begin by calling the MyBMI. As you can see, I have this pre-filled here with the same values that we just demonstrated. And this is the MyBMI. Here I've input the weight, and here is the height. And as you can see, the output is returned. Similarly, we can call the MyHealth method by editing this URL using the same weight and the same height. And we can see the JSON output of the call to MyHealth returned by the REST web service. And this contains a BMI value and the more, which is the URL resources, and the risk as well. So this is a demonstration of the REST web service. Moving on, we'll now demonstrate the BMI calculator SOAP service, and I exited out of those so we can start fresh. Once again, to run the BMI calculator SOAP service, I'm going to click this service. I'm going to right click and view in browser. So now that this is loaded, you can see that this is the SOAP service. If I click here, we can see the outline of the SOAP service. Most importantly, excuse me, the definitions of the 2 methods which are provided, in this case the operation MyHealth and the operation MyBMI. So we'll go ahead and we'll exercise this using the same BMI calculator web client, which once again will launch by right-clicking the form and selecting View in Browser. So here you see a clean version of the same form that I used to demonstrate the REST service. Once again, this BMI section, I'll input a height and a weight. This time I'll click Calculate BMI SOAP. And this will exercise the MyBMI method of the SOAP web service. The output will be placed in this field. Below, in this risk section, I'll input a height and a weight, and this will exercise the MyHealth method of the SOAP web service. I'll operate that by clicking Calculate Risk SOAP, and the output will be displayed in the following fields. We'll begin here, and we'll give it a different value. And now I'm going to click Calculate BMI SOAP. Here you can see the BMI is returned. And this is the MyBMI method. So similarly, we'll use the same values. And we'll exercise the MyHealth method by clicking Calculate Risk SOAP. And as you can see, the BMI is returned. The risk is returned. And each of the 3 URL resources is also returned in these fields. So this is a demonstration of the SOAP web service. Once again, these fields and calculate BMI SOAP exercises the My BMI method. And these fields, height and weight, and calculate risk SOAP, exercises the My Health method of the SOAP web service. And that concludes my demonstration of the REST and SOAP web services. Once again, to go over how to run my project, download the Kellen Ross Unit 5 project from Coursera, extract locally to the BMI calculator project folder, as you can see I had done there. Open the BMI calculator project solution in Visual Studio 2019 and run the services, the REST service and the SOAP service as I demonstrated in this video, and the BMI web client also demonstrated in this video. Thank you.